Tonight on CFTK-TV News, a report looks at the issues involving housing in Terrace. The Kitimat RCMP has released yet another report detailing a week's worth of events, and a day of remembrance was declared for the recent Lapu-Lapu attacks.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cale Maslin, and here's what's making the news in the Northwest and beyond for today. To begin, we'll look at an all too common issue for many people that a local resident was looking to speak out on. In the wake of the recent Terrace homeless count that was conducted by the Kassan Society, it also serves as a reminder that part of the reason for homelessness being a big issue in northwestern BC is because of housing options being limited. One local resident even came to us at CFTK-TV directly to detail her own situation relating to the housing crisis in BC.
It's hard for myself to find housing right now, and looking at a marketplace, the housing is really, for the rentals, it's too high, it's too expensive.
And as far as what could be done about that, some ideas were thrown around by the resident, with another reminder that people struggling with their living situation does not automatically mean that they are having problems with drugs or their mental health.
I also would like it if they would have housing for people without addictions as well. I think it's very important. There's a lot of homeless people out there that don't have that support, stability of, some people don't do drugs and they're homeless, they're on the streets, and they do need housing. It's really important that, whether it be for people that are using, that they have housing, and people that don't use, that they have housing. It's really important. We need that stability. We need that in our community. It's important for everybody to have homes, right?
Terrace's current rental housing options consist of traditional rental units, short-term accommodation like inns or apartment complexes for quicker stays, affordable housing, more of which are said to be on the way with on-site support services as well, and subsidized housing, which is offered by the Kassan Society via programs like Terra Nova Housing and ensures that people aren't paying over 30% of their income on their rent. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin. Yet another weekly report from the Kitimat RCMP has been released to the public, with it this time detailing what they encountered during the final week of April. One part of the report talked about the police getting word of a local resident losing a bit of money after getting fooled by a fraudulent Facebook marketplace ad. The resident had learned about the ad for what they believed to be a friend of theirs, and after the resident sent out a sum of money, a request was made for them to send more money. Concern then began to arise in the residents that the ad was a scam, and they ended up discovering that their friend was hacked and they were not the one who sent them the ad. It was sure to be an emotional day for many in BC. Friday was designated as an official day of remembrance and mourning for the victims of the tragic attack at the Lapu-Lapu Filipino Festival. CTV's Yasmin Gandam has more.
You can see it from a block away. A sea of flowers, flickering candles, and handwritten signs. For many, it's a small comfort in the wake of an unspeakable tragedy.
It speaks to the resolve of not just our community, but the city, the compassion, the empathy, the support. I think, obviously through adversity, you see real character, you see strength.
Among them is Kathy Deck. She manages a preschool nearby and lost her friend in the attack.
Wonderful mother and cared a lot about her community and her children. And I know that it's impacted a lot of other families because she was very close to a lot of families in the community.
Now she is working to find the words to support her students.
They have lost friends, they have lost family members, and this particular person had a child who had a lot of friends that are 5-6 years old.
Police providing an update on surviving victims. 13 remain in hospital. That's down 3 from Wednesday's announcement. Also, 4 people are now considered in critical condition, with 2 in serious condition.
That means that one person's medical status has improved slightly. That obviously gives us hope for those victims, those surviving victims who are still in hospital.
Police say they've spoken with around 200 witnesses from Saturday night and are urging more people with information to come forward. This as many continue to gather here where they light candles to keep the spirits of the victims alive. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up next, a 911 operator was questioned about an overdose death from last year. Welcome back. Today is the 15th annual Red Dress Day across Canada. Events are planned across BC to mark the day which honors missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. That includes events planned in Vancouver, Victoria, and Pitt Meadows. Red Dress Day was inspired by Métis artist J.B. Black's installation project, which saw red dresses hung across North America as a visual reminder of the number of women who have been killed or are missing. The 911 operator who took the call the night a UVic student fatally overdosed last year took the stand at the coroner's inquest into her death. The jury heard the recording of the call and the operator faced some pointed questions. CTV's Ben Nesbitt reports.
Just moments after Sydney McIntyre Starko and her friend collapsed to the ground, the third member of the group, who can only be identified as Student 2, called 911. All three had ingested fentanyl-laced cocaine, but that was not initially disclosed to the operator.
It would take nearly 3.5 minutes for Student 2 and the emergency call taker Kylie Alfano to pin down the location. A lawyer representing McIntyre Starko's family suggested to Alfano that she had the information she needed to begin the medical questioning much sooner. But Alfano pushed back, saying she wanted more detail from the caller. Alfano said despite her suspicions of a possible overdose, they're trained to trust the caller, ultimately declaring it a seizure call. We are not there to judge anybody, so when someone has a reluctance to tell us all of the information, it's very disheartening at times, and it's difficult because honestly, I just want to do the best job that I can. Eventually, one of the campus security officers at the scene takes over the phone from Student 2, who eventually acknowledges that drugs were consumed. Alfano instructed the security officers to deploy naloxone. McIntyre Starko's friend regained consciousness, but she did not.
The point of the coroner's inquest is not to assign blame, rather for the jury, after hearing all of the evidence, to make recommendations that could potentially stop similar deaths in the future. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Burnaby.
Now to news in Chilliwack, where it's the best possible outcome in the search for a missing 7-year-old girl who disappeared in the later part of last week, where on Friday afternoon she was found. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi has more.
Nearly 24 hours later, 7-year-old Lily Corsell was found. She was discovered just moments ago by search and rescue crews pretty far from her home in Chilliwack.
I received a call from the watch commander who indicated that Lily has been found safe, quite a distance from her residence. However, she's in good health as far as we can tell. Search and rescue has actually located her and walking her out. Obviously, we'll have her medically checked and cleared, but it sounds like she's in good shape and has the ability to walk out under her own power.
Corsell went missing yesterday around 4 p.m. in the 50800 block of Winona Road. Her aunt says she was riding her bike and followed her neighbor's dogs into a wooded area. Within minutes, the dogs returned, but Lily did not. Dozens of emergency responders and volunteers spent the last day searching for her. RCMP say she was able to walk out of the wooded area and that she will be receiving medical attention soon. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Chilliwack.
Over now to an incredible discovery at the PNE Fairgrounds. More historic military weapons have been located while excavating the site for a new amphitheater. It's the second discovery in a matter of weeks, and some of the large guns date back to the 19th century. CTV's Kevin Chirac reports on how they got there and why experts believe that there could be even more.
The new PNE Amphitheater project is producing much more than a new concert venue.
It's not every day that you find stuff from the 1870s buried in British Columbia.
This is a 105mm gun captured from Germany during the First World War. It was discovered on the PNE grounds on March 27th. And just a few weeks later, they found more historic artillery, including this 9-pounder. It's from the Canadian military, and it dates back to 1875. They also found German machine guns used in the First World War and another 9-pounder which fired 9-pound ammunition believed to be from CFB Esquimalt.
What I find amazing is the preservation.
Jordy Howes worked as an archaeologist for 50 years, calling this discovery a career highlight.
And just in terms of historical artifacts, I don't think this will ever be topped.
And it was found by accident.
They were excavating to complete work on their sewer installation.
It's incredibly exciting.
James Calhoun is the curator for the Seaforth Highlanders of Canada Museum.
What you've got is you've got captured German guns.
He says guns were stored in Hastings Park and a nearby 9-meter deep ravine used to run through the area. He says the older guns, seen as useless at the time, were thrown out in the water. It was even covered in this news article from 1940.
Our attitudes changed throughout the late 20s and early 30s, and we ended up getting rid of this stuff. Yesterday's trash is today's treasure.
He's working to restore them and put them on display at the Seaforth Armory, but he says the treasure hunt is far from over, and he believes this 16,000-pound German heavy howitzer is somewhere down there.
This gun used to be at the entrance to Stanley Park, and we know it was there until the 1930s, and we think that that might be buried in the ravine at the PNE.
Now he's exploring using ground-penetrating radar to find his holy grail. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Vancouver.
And now we took a look at both your nightly and weekly weather forecast. On the north coast, the forecast for tonight expects to see rain and a low of 6 degrees, while the forecast for the rest of the week promises to be similarly cloudy and rainy, with a high shifting from 9 to 10 degrees. In the Terrace-Kitimat area, the night is likely to bring rain and a low of 6 degrees, as well as with the weekly forecast also looking to be full of clouds and rain, while their own high bounces between 9 and 12 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, their night is set to see a chance of showers as their low also sits at 6. And their forecast for the rest of the week projects to get a rainy day at the start, then a sunny day, before getting a couple of mixed sunny and cloudy days and ending with one more cloudy day, with their own high moving from 10 to 14 degrees. Checking out the highways now, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions, and as always, drive safe out there. On Highway 16, they have some bridge maintenance, utility work, industrial traffic, and road sweeping. Highway 37 has both frost heaves and road sweeping as well. Highway 37A is dealing with some falling rocks between west of Busy Adden and east of Stewart. And the Telegraph Creek Road has muddy sections and a rest area west of Dease Lake being currently closed. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come is a further look into the still ongoing Buy Canada movement. Welcome back. New numbers show Canadians have never had a lower opinion of the United States than they do right now, and they're expressing that feeling with their wallets. CTV's Ben Bilger has more on the Buy Canadian movement and the likelihood that it stays strong no matter what happens next with our southern neighbor.
Signs like these try to make it easy for people to buy Canadian.
I think now more than ever, like, you want to support local and you want to support Canada.
I want to support, first of all, local, and I also want to keep our dollars here in Canada.
After months of tariff bluster and annexation threats from the White House, a new poll from Vancouver firm Research Co. shows just 26% of Canadians have a positive opinion of the United States.
It's lower than the way Canadians feel about Saudi Arabia, which is something that we didn't quite expect when we were looking at the numbers.
Wednesday, the CEO of grocery giant Loblaws said he doesn't think the Buy Canadian trend will last. Maybe a third of it will stick, Pearbank told investors and analysts on an earnings call, where he also highlighted more than $14 billion in first quarter revenue. According to Donald Trump, Prime Minister Mark Carney will visit the White House soon, but many of the Canadians we spoke to say no matter what happens in that meeting, it won't change their opinion of the U.S. or their spending habits.
This is something that I will definitely continue to do.
I will buy Filipino, Spanish, European, anything else, but I won't buy American.
Given the continued uncertainty of Canada's future relationship with the United States, primarily because of the unpredictability of the U.S. president, it doesn't appear signage like this will disappear from grocery aisles anytime soon.
The fact that the consumer is asking for this and those who are selling these products are doing it certainly suggests that it's going to continue.
Unless retailers see a drastic shift in consumer spending, expect the focus on the maple leaf to persist. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
There was a time when it was easy to tell where a call was coming from just by looking at the area code. But a dizzying number of them have been added in Canada over the last few decades, and now BC is in line to get yet another one. CTV's John Venavelli-Rao dials into the digital evolution of those first three numbers.
For Toronto area cell phone users, it's gonna take some getting used to. A brand new area code, 942, that started popping up on phones in a city still synonymous with the old school original.
942, yeah.
How does that sound to you?
I don't like it, to be honest. I think we got enough area codes, no?
That's garbage.
Sounds a bit sketchy.
Yeah, exactly.
The addition of Toronto's fourth area code getting some shade on social media. Some suggesting 3 seemed plenty. And this new code comes just weeks ahead of British Columbia adding the province's 6th area code, 257.
It's a lot of numbers, and really it's not just all people using these up. It's a lot of technology that's using these numbers up as well.
With phone numbers now assigned to things like cars, traffic lights, and tablets, demand for them is growing faster than the population. Adding an area code enables more than 7 million new phone numbers to be generated. And back in 1947, when such codes were first established, that was more than enough. Canada had 9 back then, but by the year 2000, it had shot up to 20. And later this month, it'll hit 55, expected to grow to 60 by the end of the decade.
There's a lot of new area codes now, and I don't know them.
Sean Iocaccini runs a business that sells recycled phone numbers to customers wanting classic area codes like Toronto's 416. Numbers sell for as little as $50, though easy-to-remember ones like those ending with 4 zeros can fetch nearly $5,000.
Since 2016, we haven't had a day go by where we haven't sold a 416 phone number.
Is that still kind of cool, though, to have a 416 number?
I think so. But I'm really old.
And if you're not thrilled with 942, it is a problem you can buy your way out of. John Venavelli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Cybersecurity is in the spotlight as World Password Day recently happened. It's an annual reminder to strengthen your digital defenses as fraud cases are on the rise. CTV's Pat Ford breaks down how you can create unhackable passwords, according to security experts.
We need passwords for so many different services, and many of us have a bad habit to use simple ones and recycle them. If criminals can figure out your passwords, they can hack your accounts.
We average 50 reports a day.
Detective David Coffey says in the first 4 months of this year in Toronto alone, residents have lost $168 million to various types of fraud. Many crimes begin with identity theft.
Identity theft is, the root of all fraud evil, pretty much, because you never know when your identity is going to be used and for what purpose.
Even though cybersecurity experts constantly warn us to use complex passwords, this year the 5 most common included 123456, QWERTY, and password.
Use a long, strong, unique password. Change it for every place you go to. Don't reuse those passwords.
While many of us will make an effort to use strong passwords for banking and credit cards, we may reuse simple passwords for other services. But criminals may already have those passwords from previous cyber attacks.
If you are reusing old passwords in that way, then you should assume that they will be compromised, and it's probably a good practice to make that assumption and go out and change them, as soon as you can.
You may want to consider upgrading to a password manager or passkeys, which replace traditional passwords.
There's definitely a role to play for passkeys, password managers, password generators. Again, anything that helps make it easier for you to try and generate a random password.
And don't discount the password for your email. If criminals hack it, they could request password resets for your services.
For me, it's typed in every time, very long, very strong.
Biometrics such as face recognition and fingerprints may one day replace passwords, but until they do, we're all encouraged to try a little harder to create unhackable passwords. Pat Foran, CTV News.
And now we turn our attention to how the stock markets are looking as of today compared to the end of last week. The Canadian dollar is down 6/100ths of a cent. The price of gold is up $79. Oil is down $1.16. Natural gas is down 8 cents. Aluminum is up $24. In Toronto, the TSX is down 77.99 points. The Venture Index is down 0.36. In New York, the Dow Jones is down 98.60, and NASDAQ is down 133.49. Still ahead, Katy Perry responds to people criticizing her for her recent space trip. Welcome back. Katy Perry is hitting back against online critics, and this comes after the pop star got called out for her recent Blue Origin trip to space, with some calling it tone deaf. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has the story.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath.
The star posting on Instagram, "When the online world tries to make me a human piñata, I take it with grace and send them love, because I know so many people are hurting in so many ways, and the internet is very much so a dumping ground for unhinged and unhealed." Perry's comments coming after facing repeated public backlash. The recent firestorm ranging from her all-female Blue Origin space shuttle flight.
I feel super connected to love. So connected to love.
Her singing in space blasted by some as tone deaf. Despite the scrutiny, Perry's still feeling a lot of love, selling out stadiums on her current world tour.
As a pop star, you expect this sort of behavior from people online. But as she said in her statement as well, she understands what is real and what is important to her. And even if the people online are saying one thing, she sees what's real every night when she's on tour, seeing her fans singing in unison, reading her notes, and feeling that warmth in person.
Perry saying she's grateful to her fans, going on to write, "I'm not perfect. I'm on a human journey playing the game of life with an audience of many, and sometimes I fall, but I get back up and go on and continue to play the game. And somehow, through my battered and bruised adventure, I keep looking to the light, and in that light, a new level unlocks."
Eva Pilgrim, ABC News, New York.
That is all of our news for now. From all of us here at CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin, and thank you for watching. We will see you next time.